फॉर एन एंटरप्राइज हैवेल्स के लिए कोई एप्लीकेशन बनाई थी एंड इट वाज इज इट स्टिल लोडिंग एट योर एंड? ओके, should I click on this to continue? Is it working now? यहाँ पे तो it is showing that it is working. Okay. Is everyone able to see the screen? एक बार फिर से प्लीज कंफर्म कर दो. It's working? Okay. Great. Great. ठीक है. Thank you for confirming. ठीक है, नहीं दिख रही थी तो अब it is fine. You did not miss anything. The last slide was kind of an introduction. This was the last slide. I think हर बार slide share करके मुझे यहाँ पे click करना पड़ेगा because it is pausing the stream. So these are all the positions. सबसे पहले I started with an Android intern. If anyone remembers, I am sure most of you would have been in school. Spice के phones आते थे, like लंबी बैटरी वाले phones, right? तो उनका एक enterprise division था called Spice Labs, जो कि enterprise applications बनाते थे for different companies. तो उसमें Havels के लिए मुझे एक application बनानी थी. That is where I started. Being in electronics, I got that intern through a referral. उन्होंने मुझे एक टास्क दिया एंड टास्क खत्म होने से उन्होंने आई थिंक एक या 2 दिन पहले आके बोला, अर्पण ये कंप्लीट कर देना, नहीं तो मैं सर्टिफिकेट नहीं दूंगा, एज इन द लेटर. एंड आई वाज एबल टू कंप्लीट इट इन द लास्ट कपल ऑफ आवर्स बिकॉज इट वाज कंप्लीटली न्यू. प्लस मेरे पास एक लैपटॉप हुआ करता था i5 इंटेल का, फुजित्सु कंपनी का, एंड उस समय ना एंड्रॉइड स्टूडियो वाजंट देयर. सो व्हाट यूज्ड टू हैपन इज व्हेन यू ran the emulator, क्लिक किया कि आपको emulate करना है, उस पॉइंट पे पहले लैपटॉप का फैन चलता था, आवाज आती थी, फिर स्क्रीन पे फोन बना आता था, देन द एप्लीकेशन यूज्ड टू रन. तो आधा टाइम तो उसी में निकल जाता था कि चला के टेस्ट कैसे करें. My first actual job was into digital marketing, not what it is today, but I used to work with some brands like MTV Exit, W for Women, Aurelia. There were a couple of politicians, independent authors. So इनके साथ I used to work. Then I joined as a developer at a healthcare startup. We will discuss all these things in detail. Not much detail, boring नहीं करने की कोशिश करूँगा, but still. वहीं पे प्रमोशन हुआ टेक लीड, उसके बाद फिर प्रोडक्ट इंजीनियर प्लस टीचर, देन वहाँ पे प्रमोशन हुआ प्रोडक्ट हेड प्लस फाउंडिंग मेंबर, एंड देन खुद का किया हुआ प्रमोशन जब आप बेरोजगार हो जाते हो, यानी कि आप जॉब छोड़ के और फाउंडर बन जाते हो. That is the biggest masturi that you are doing. Okay, so let's begin. Just trivia, which I keep on sharing in different places. This is actually the world's first website. Simple HTML, कोई CSS नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं है. If you go to this link, you'll still find it live as a historical monument or a museum online, you can say. ये website अभी live है. And it was essentially, I think, screen pause थी. Okay. So world's first website was literally आपने यहाँ से www.something type किया और वहाँ पे एक HTML file hosted है which will come to your browser and run. Nothing, no logic, nothing else. It just ran into your browser. Okay. Now let's play a small game. So a very small game. Guess करना है. Because we are going to discuss a startup journey, ki how I basically built Commudle and am involved with Exa protocol, building tech for that. So we need to understand how do startups start. It is identification of something जो हमें लगता है कि worth solving है. हर बार problem नहीं होती है, काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि idea है, तो मतलब क्यों करना चाहिए उस पे. तो let's begin. First one is this. Can anyone guess ये कौन सी startup का idea था या problem statement था? In chat. Correct. Facebook. तो एक simple सा idea, right? Friends से college में connect नहीं कर पाते हैं. सोच रहे होगा क्या silly सा problem statement दिया है या everyone would know that. Imagine this maybe 10-15 years ago. जब tech wasn't as advanced as today. उस समय के हिसाब से advanced होगा, but still. ओके, नेक्स्ट वन। ये तो यार मतलब आई थिंक हर कोई यूज कर ही रहा होगा। ऐसे 4-5 है, ज्यादा नहीं है। व्हाट्सएप पे फोटोज थोड़ी शेयर करने के लिए ऐप बनाई थी। ड्राइव भी नहीं था। यस, सो इनिशियली दिस वाज इंस्टाग्राम। मतलब आपने फोटो कैसी भी खींची हो वो उसको सुंदर बना देगा, एंड यू कैन शेयर इट विद योर फ्रेंड्स, राइट? सो दिस वाज इंस्टाग्राम। दिस वाज द प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट दैट वाज पिच्ड टू इन्वेस्टर्स। सो इमेजिन किस तरह से सोल्यूशन उन्होंने बनाया है। नेक्स्ट, आई एम प्रिटी श्योर एज कॉलेज स्टूडेंट्स हॉस्टल में रह के या बाहर हॉस्टल्स में रह के यू वुड बी सेविंग मनी। सिमिलरली एयरबीएनबी डिड दिस। ओके, उन्होंने अपने ही रूम को रेंट आउट कर दिया, एंड फ्रॉम देयर इट बिगैन। ओके, नेक्स्ट वन। मतलब आजकल कोई नहीं यूज करता, बट स्टिल, विच वन इज दिस वन? करेक्ट, कोरा। सो कोरा, इमेजिन एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, मे बी 5 years earlier from now, there was a huge trend कि कोरा पे क्वेश्चंस पूछने हैं, कोरा पे आंसर्स डालने हैं, एंड इवन फॉर स्टार्टअप्स यू नो इट वाज अ वेरी गुड मार्केटिंग प्लेस फॉर जेन्युइन एंड फेक, बोथ काइंड ऑफ आंसर्स। तो अगर आपके कंपनी का किसी ने नेगेटिव रिव्यू डाल दिया है, फेक या रियल, आप उसको डाउनलोड भी करवा देते थे। या जिसने डाला है जिस किसी और कंपेटिटर कंपनी ने, तो आप उस पे भी यू नो पीपल वर यूज्ड टू। अच्छा, 90 LPA इनफ इन बैंगलोर पे बाद में आते हैं। For tech, it could be Stack Overflow, and you can also compare it to Reddit, but Reddit is not exactly Q&A. It is, as they say, single source of truth for internet. So Reddit is the only platform which has not peaked out or maxed out. हर बार हर साल नया create करता है। ओके, फोटोशॉप यूज टू बी अ स्किल। अरे मुझे फोटोशॉप आता है, अरे फोटोशॉप में फोटो एडिट करनी आती है। फिर आया ये टूल, और प्रेजेंटेशंस, फोटो एडिटिंग, बेसिक ग्राफिक्स वर लाइक 5 minutes वर्थ ऑफ वर्क। फिग्मा तो बहुत एडवांस्ड है। यस, कैनवा, राइट? ये पूरी प्रेजेंटेशन, इसमें कोई डिजाइन नहीं है, बट इट इज कैनवा built, and very easily built. I mean, right now I prefer it more than slides or PowerPoint to build my presentations because of the ease of use and the availability of different elements, designs, and everything. See how people found their problems to solve. Okay, I think last two है, ये तो हर कोई बता देगा। Uber, obviously। ठीक है, करेक्ट करेक्ट, परफेक्ट। नेक्स्ट पे जाते हैं। यस, ये भी हर कोई बता सकते हैं, आई थिंक। Professional identity on Reddit? No, LinkedIn. Okay, you're correct. So imagine all of these are social media platforms today for some sort of discussions, for good morning, good evening messages to आज मैंने ये event attend किया, I listened to this speaker, or I connected with this one. But the main concept with which they differentiate is something. For example, Instagram, Snapchat would be, photo related content. LinkedIn, प्रोफेशनल, तुम्हारी प्रोफाइल से सब कुछ है कि हाँ कौन कहाँ का फाउंडर है, या फिर हु इज वर्किंग एट विच मांग कंपनी, ऑल दोस थिंग्स। ऑल राइट, दिस इज द फाइनल वन। सो द प्रॉब्लम वाज, कोई एक मूवी देखनी होती थी, आई नीडेड टू गो टू अ वीडियो स्टोर, लाइन में लगो, वहां से डीवीडी या सीडी रेंट लो। इंडिया में पायरेटेड भी यूज करते हैं लोग, करते थे, विच इज नॉट द गुड प्रैक्टिस, बट यस। एंड देन लेकर आओ, मूवी देखो, फिर वापस करके आओ। नेटफ्लिक्स, करेक्ट। So this was actually the problem statement that people pitched, and they solved for it, starting at a small scale. Now, finally, another trivia question before we move on to the journey. फिर हम कहानी सुनेंगे। आई होप कि वो इंटरेस्टिंग होगी। सो दुनिया के पहले इंटरनेट का क्या नाम था? इफ एनीवन रिमेंबर्स, एआई से पूछ सकते हो, गूगल भी कर सकते हो, बट आई थिंक सबको पता ही होगा। सारे जवाब एक ही इंसान दे रहा है, हेमंत। सबसे पहले। यस, करेक्ट। तो ये ना थोड़ा सा ब्रैगिंग है. ARPANET was launched in 1989, the year where I was born, and that is why I think I'm made for the web, and that is why I love building online products. So मेरा नाम उस पे पड़ा या उसका नाम मेरे पे पड़ा, वो is another discussion, but yes, ARPANET includes ARPAN. So yeah, just for fun, PJ कह सकते हो, जो कि और मिलेंगे अभी आके. All right, so let's begin the journey. Let's go back to college life. I graduated in 2013. I was in electronics with a huge amount of interest in computer science. But मुझे robotics में जाना था, तो I took electronics. And वहाँ जाके पता चला कि I wasn't doing anything related to robotics. But still, I saw my first problem which I wanted to solve during my college days. और मैं बहुत पढ़ाकू टाइप का उस समय था, अभी भी हूँ, बट स्टिल. हाँ, तो व्हाट आई सॉ वाज एक 100 cc की बाइक पे या स्कूटर पे एटलीस्ट 4 to 5 to 7 people of a family were going in a tier 3 city, in a village around that city, right? So I thought, कैन दिस इंजन, ये 100 cc का जो इंजन है, काइनेटिक होंडा हो गया या मोटरसाइकिल कोई सी भी, उसमें मैं 2 की जगह 4 पहिए लगा दूं तो लोग ज्यादा सेफली कंफर्टेबली बैठ के जाएंगे. And that is where it began. In my final year project, I, along with 3 more of my friends, built this car. It was a 3-fueled hybrid car. You can say my first startup, which phased out very early. It was this. I didn't sell anything, but I built my prototype. We drove it to college. It used to run on electricity, petrol, and gas. So petrol engine mein you can add a CNG kit. Even for 2-wheelers it is available, 2-wheeler engines ke liye. So we built this. We drove it for around 100 and 150 kilometers. And college leke gaye the, chala ke वापस लेकर आए थे. Some national, international media covered it. But eventually, बहुत सारी companies में I pinged कि can something be done? Can we take this forward and all of that? But कुछ हुआ नहीं. But that was my first venture. Immediately after college, पढ़ाकू था, तो college में I did well. Final semester में I topped along all the branches. College wasn't that much known. But I thought कि job तो बहुत अच्छे से मिल जाएगी, because I've topped. Companies पीछे पीछे आएंगी. हुआ नहीं ऐसा. Somehow, back to reality. तो झोला लेके, as in bag टांग के, I used to go around and give a lot of interviews at good places, at not so good places, and it was interesting. I also did face that part of the journey wherein there were around 5 to 10 people, me being the only electronics person, rest of them being computer science people. Even after clearing the exam or having first or second rank in that exam, I was rejected because electronics branch thi, and they had a policy of not hiring for developer roles, electronics students. But fortunately, this was my first company called Creativa India. Right now, they have a different name, Emporio. The founder saw some potential and he hired me as a social media manager. अब यहाँ से I would say journey began of understanding what I really want to do in life. So I used to handle the tech part plus manage social media for big brands. Twitter पे trend करना, campaigns run करना, offline bloggers meet, fashion bloggers की meet होती थी, book writers, readers की meet होती थी, बैठ के पिज्जा खा रहे हैं और book पढ़ रहे हैं. Politicians के लिए Wikipedia pages बनाना and websites, web portals create करना freelancers के through. All of this was getting done. What I realized was I was having a lot of fun ये जो strategies बना रहा था ना और उनको execute करने में. But what I saw was एक तरफ there is someone's product and दूसरी तरफ there is some platform like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn or whichever other platform that was at that point of time. I was using or basically this platform to market the product. So I was here in the middle creating the strategy, having a lot of fun. But what I really wanted to do, and I'm grateful that I got to understand that much early, कि मुझे ना either side पे रहना है, या तो ये product बनाना है या फिर ये platform बनाना है. That is where I decided, and it was a long journey also. मतलब from one end of Dwarka to another end of Noida, दिन के approximately 4 hours spent in the metro. Still was enjoying that job. So after 6 to 8, 6 months, 5 to 6 months, I think I decided that I want to move out and start learning coding again. This was the time wherein I started web development again. And I should pause this video. Yes. I found my first internship at Kalprix Healthcare. So for the first month, initially एक week का project था. I had to sit next to a lot of doctors and build a web portal for doctors to enter prescriptions online. अब एक महीना free internship थी. मतलब it was not an internship, it was like कि project कर रहे हैं. एक हफ्ते का it translated into 1 month. And then at the end of 1 month, they came to me and said that, do you want to do an internship, paid internship with us? I was like, yes, let's do that. In the midst of all of that, I was also giving GRE. I have a lot of family abroad in different colleges, right from MIT to UPenn, UC Berkeley, and everything. So that was also one thing that I was being told to do from family. But then I decided कि नहीं, मेरे को यहाँ पे startup में काम करना है. So internship offer होने के अगले दिन, next day, they come back and they tell me that, do you want to do a full-time job on this? And I was really excited because I was going to work with AIMS doctors. I was going to work with someone who was heading a considerable part of Amazon India, some ex-Facebook employees, and ex-Leela, if you've heard of Leela Hotel, management heads. So all these people, and I was the only developer. So that was the exciting part कि मेरे को शुरू से चीजें बनाने को मिलेंगी. अब अगले 2 साल कैसे निकले? अगले 2 साल I was coding, I was training the reception people, and we were running for approximately 6 months. We were running on free tier. Amazon AWS आपको free tier देता है. उधर से डॉक्टर शाउटिंग कि अर्पण प्रिस्क्रिप्शन अपलोड नहीं हो रहा है, इधर पेशेंट खड़े होके कि चेक इन नहीं हो रहा है, पीछे से लैब से चिल्ला रहे हैं अर्पण लैब रिपोर्ट नहीं अपलोड हो रही है. ऐसे वाले सिचुएशंस भी होते थे. I was standing behind doctors to see कि वो प्लेटफॉर्म कैसे यूज कर रहे हैं, so that I could improve it. I was getting on a bike to behind sample collection people. हमारा लैब भी हुआ करता था. Going to a patient's house early at 6:30 a.m. to see how the patient and the sample collection guy are both going to use our mobile application. So this was, I would say, one of the core experiences while participating in my marketing also for the company. And but mostly I was taking care of tech. But I had a considerable amount of input in other aspects, and suni jati thi meri. That was the most important part. This is where I realized कि अकेले बैठ के I could build things, and I could see all the aspects of how a company is being run right from scratch, from day zero, to a point where we reached a place wherein doctors, there was one doctor who was 70 years old. When we finally released our final version, ये जो यहाँ पे photo दिख रही है, ये video है basically. This was the first version of the reception that I created. अब तो frameworks में tabs and everything are there. I coded it by hand. Everything CSS JavaScript. बहुत अच्छा कोड भी लिखा, बहुत गंदा कोड भी लिखा, but ठीक है, we'll come back to that. The important part was being able to see every aspect of how a company is being built, right from hiring people, hiring knowledgeable people, hiring people who have no experience, hiring people in different roles, to building things which everyone is able to use. And that 70-year-old doctor, at the end of around 10 months, when we released the third UI of the prescription entering part, he asked for the laptop, he used it. मैंने सिखाया नहीं, मुझे कुछ नहीं बताना पड़ा. That was the achievement कि एक 70-year-old doctor is being able to do that. And we also achieved about 40% higher follow-up rate of patients who were coming back because of technological advances in the clinic. We built video consultation, we built online prescriptions, patient portal, lab portal, report portal, all of the data doctor being able to see consolidatedly on his dashboard. And we published a couple of research papers on that. Obviously, doctor did most of the research. I was responsible for data churning. तो वहां से शुरू हुआ था. ठीक है, यहाँ पे रोकते हैं इसको. इस बीच में we hired 2 interns who were a part of GDG New Delhi, 2 organizers, college students. They were talking about GDG. I was like, ये क्या है? Next weekend मैं पहुंच गया event attend करने. देखता हूँ 2 college students teaching a group of 80 professionals. आई कुड जस्ट हॉप ऑन एंड जाके किसी से भी बात कर सकता था, मैं ये बना रहा हूँ, आप क्या बना रहे हो, मैं इस तरह से कोड लिखता हूँ, इज इट द राइट वे, what is the best way to do this, what are new technologies. I was amazed. That is where I started, you know, let's keep on going to these events. Then up till 2017 मैंने टेक टॉक्स भी देना शुरू कर दिया था. द मोस्ट फन पार्ट वाज कुछ एक नया, एंड दिस इज ओके, आई नीड टू चेंज द स्लाइड हेयर आल्सो. ओके, सो द इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट वाज कि एक हफ्ते में कुछ भी नया सीखो, if your talk is selected obviously, and you can go and teach people hands on code labs. ये ज्ञान वाली talk is something that I seldom do. I prefer or have much more experience in hands on code labs. तो बहुत अच्छे से नई technologies I used to learn. That became a window of fresh air. In 2017, one of the organizers sorry was moving out of India, so I got a chance to step up. कभी सोचा नहीं था organizer बनूंगा, and that is actually, I would say, where the journey began. All right, I'll take a pause. अगर मैं पका रहा हूँ तो बोल दो. I'll speeden it up. 2-3 slides और हैं. Not a lot of things left, but just sharing the journey. But yes, 2 more companies to go. You can always unmute. You can always say, okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging. I hope it is going to be useful. All right. So, 2017 पे आते हैं वापस से. This was the time when I started taking, organizing these events. What used to happen was, हम बहुत सारी तैयारी करते थे events के लिए. And other than flagship, DevFest तो सुना होगा, या कोई भी बड़ा event होता है, GDSC WOW भी होता है, and things like that. बाकी events में ना, अगर 100 people were invited, only 20, 25, at max 30 people used to show up. इतने सारी तैयारी used to go waste, the budget used to go waste. We were not able to do anything about it. So we started a new thing somewhere in 2016-17 transition part. जब मैं ऑर्गेनाइजर बना था, was that पहले एक फॉर्म भेजते थे, सबको इनवाइट ही नहीं करना, सबसे पहले सबको इनवाइट कर दिया जाता था. फॉर्म भेज के उसमें से those who filled the form well, उनको हम RSVP फॉर्म भेजते थे. अब RSVP फॉर्म में जिसने यस किया, उसको हम BCC में डाल के उन लोगों को एक मेल भेजते थे, दिस इज योर यूनिक एंट्री पास. कुछ यूनिक नहीं होता था उसमें, कोई कोड नहीं होता था जैसे आजकल QR कोड एंड एवरीथिंग. एंड इफ यू डू नॉट अटेंड आगे के इवेंट्स में, यू विल नॉट बी शॉर्टलिस्टेड. People actually respected that. From the next event itself, our turn-up rate was 90% and above. अगर 100 लोगों को एंट्री पास भेजा है, at least 90 people used to show up. We were amazed कि ये कैसे हो रहा है. So around 1.5 years later तक, this was constant. And बड़े events में it used to go above 100% because obviously there are excited uninvited people also who used to show up. Google recognized it. They were kind enough to offer me an invitation to Google I/O. So अब तो सब कुछ online होने लगा है, but Google I/O is their year's biggest fest, and around 8,000 people from across the world used to show up. Now this is where Commudle का idea was planted in my head. Just before I/O, एक global community summit होता है जहाँ पे around the world, from across the world, there are about 300 people who are shortlisted and invited, just like me. वहाँ पे I still remember I was just hopping and talking to more than 100-120 people. आपकी कंट्री में क्या डिफरेंट है, आपकी सिटी में क्या डिफरेंट है, what is it that you do differently, what are the different problems you are facing. And doing that, I realized almost everyone was facing the same set of problems, but probably they were waiting for a platform to be given to them, because abhi meetup.com use कर रहे थे हम लोग, which was given to us by Google. So came back, I started coding जो भी ये प्रोसेस बनाया था 3 step into a basic platform for my team, कि एटलीस्ट हमारा बहुत सारे गूगल शीट्स में स्प्रेड हो रखा था, बहुत सारे गूगल फॉर्म्स में स्प्रेड हो रखा था, वो सब डेटा एक जगह पे आ जाएगा. पीपल विल ऑल्सो बी एबल टू सी स्ट्रीमलाइन प्रोसेस. तो 3 months आई लेफ्ट माई कार एट होम. 3 मेट्रो बदल के आई हैड टू गो टू ऑफिस पीतमपुरा में. तो सुबह को जाते हुए यूज टू कोड, शाम को वापस आते टाइम एक मेट्रो में यूज टू डू द डिप्लॉयमेंट, नेक्स्ट में टेस्टिंग एंड थर्ड में प्लानिंग फॉर द नेक्स्ट डे. Literally, it took 3 months, and office mein workload was so high that you can't even imagine. There was fundraise process going on. There was, you can say, a new couple of new products being launched, being discussed, and a lot of analytics, call centers being set up, and everything, which was my responsibility. But the excitement of building my own thing, which people would be using outside of work, was so high कि वो थकान ही नहीं फील होती थी. मेट्रो में आते जाते मैं कोड करता था, और कैब में भी अगर किसी दिन कैब से आ रहे जा रहे हैं तो. At the end of 3 months came up gdgnd.org. DevFest 2018 में I was standing on the stage and एक बटन दबा के I said कि feedback emails के links are in your pocket and if you fill them तभी t-shirt मिलेगी. This was a very good feeling. अब उसके एक महीने बाद तक प्रोजेक्ट का कुछ नहीं हुआ. It was lying just like that and people asked me can we also use it. So I open sourced the whole thing. Monolithic app थी, front end back end बराबर था. And basically some people set it up but mostly sunk cost आ जाता है, so others were not able to. Then some people said कि can you please add a feature कि हम लोग और अपनी communities भी कर पाएं. अब gdgnd.org was specifically for GDG New Delhi. So then I thought of a name. First name that I thought was ksacommunity.com. But वो domain नहीं था. Then I thought community is creativity. So community plus doodle. We made the name Commudle. Sat down with a friend to design a logo. And then I launched it on commudle.com. Within the first 1.5 months, there were around 6,000 users. There were around 15 communities. A lot of them were Google Developer Student Clubs. And they were regularly using. This was just before COVID, 2019, 2020. Acha, one part which I skipped was because of this platform and all the contributions, 2019 mein, which happens very rarely, Google invited me again to Google I/O. And I was also given a chance कि मैं Google I/O में talk दूं at the community lounge representing India. So I gave a talk on building scalable communities, tips from India. And this is where I had this tons of discussions with senior DevRel people, not just from Google, but from more companies as well. जहाँ पे I thought कि I should build this. There is a lot of data जो कि लोग नहीं capture कर पा रहे हैं in terms of interests of community members. And if there is a centralized platform जहाँ पे developer is in the focus, so DevRel team will be able to better communicate with them. Came back and finally उस समय fundraise was happening around December, January. Once that was done, around February, I decided I want to, move on and do Commudle. It took 6 months to hand over the responsibilities. And in June, in the middle of COVID 2020, one, I was stuck at home. Second, I was happy कि मैं अब कहीं जा ही नहीं सकता. I can focus on my startup. अंदर से there was a lot of nervousness, but there was happiness also. थोड़ा सा freedom वाली feeling थी कि मैं अपना कुछ बना रहा हूँ. And that is where Commudle की journey started. Okay, fast forwarding. I think इसमें से हमने कुछ चीजें discuss कर ली थी. Commudle तक कैसे पहुंचे थे. These are some pictures. The first one at the top is from the talk that I gave at the community lounge. And it was a casual setup. Community lounge mein there are some pool tables, there are some photo booths and everything, and there is a talk space. So mine was, I think, first or second talk in the morning. And these are people from different countries, different places, sitting all around in here. So open stages होते थे, closed stages होते थे, बड़े stages होते थे, different types of stages. So this is where I transitioned to Commudle and started working on this. Okay, finally. So after, you can say, we registered the company in 2022. Company register करने में 2 साल लगाए because we were working on the product, exploring. Key points that I wanted to share: how I found my co-founder and how I found my first developer. So I found my co-founder. उससे पहले I found 3 advisors and then the 4th advisor. One advisor is Dushyant, the person who built GDGs for India from scratch. He is the closest mentor and advisor to Commudle. Second advisor is Ankur. He was the director of product management at Amazon in Seattle. Right now, he is VP of product at Remitly. So he was one of the people at Kalpvriksh Healthcare, one of my senior colleagues. So हम लोगों ने मैंने उनके साथ directly उनके साथ काम किया है. He's the guy who helps me कि 6 महीने का अगर मैंने कुछ टारगेट बनाया उसको 3 महीने 2 महीने में कैसे करूंगा. And Dushyant is the guy who keeps me connected to reality, whether I'm building the right thing, whether I'm not getting paranoid. Then ex-general manager of GitHub India, who is CEO of Lambda Test, Manish. I saw once his photo on Twitter, किसी community event में. मैंने किसी से पूछा कि इनका email ID कहीं से निकल सकता है. I found the email ID. पहली mail करी, दूसरी mail करी, तीसरी mail करी, fourth mail में I asked, hey Manish, is this the right email? Tub response आया. Then we connected, and I've met him only once. That too, I think last year. उससे पहले मैं मिला नहीं. हमारी सिर्फ video calls, phone calls, and chats हुई है. Nothing else. And then there is Pragati, who is ex-director of DevRel at Microsoft. Chats पे अभी आता हूँ. I think someone asked the question. I'll just cover up this in another 2-3 minutes. So yes, how I found Apra, my co-founder, was one day I asked Dushyant, because he's been in the same domain, can you please make all your contacts on LinkedIn public for 1 or 2 days? I skimmed through all the contacts, found out people who were appropriate in terms of in the DevRel experience. And who is sad now? Why are you sad now? Okay. And then asked Dushyant ki, is this the right person? Is this the right person? Took some call. Then did my first call with Apra, and it felt like कि अच्छा हम लोग तो बहुत पहले से जानते होंगे एक दूसरे को. We decided on a task for 3 months. That is when we decided, after completion of that task, कि let's do this together. And she was onboarded as a co-founder. Ashwin was someone who was the first developer. He made some open source contributions to our front-end repository, which is still open sourced. You can find out bugs, create issues, and solve them yourselves over there and create pull requests. Imagine it will be used by thousands of people or lakhs of people right now. So yes, he contributed that. Then is when I offered him first internship, and he's been associated since then. Okay, finally, statistics show that, so we've been a part of Google for Startups Accelerator also. We are at around 200,000 users, 500 plus communities right now. And every day we are finding something new and more interesting to do. So any perks given to raise and fix bugs? Definitely not money, but we can share t-shirts, we can share some goodies. We can do that definitely. Right? We are a young startup, so funds are a little bit, you can say, bootstrapped hote ho to scarce or less funds. But yes, whatever way we can share love, we can also give you a recommendation online, definitely. So statistics show that 2% startups bachti hain after 5 years. But as a founder, there is a hope, there is a chance. So you should never give up on that. And finally, I would say, keep building. सोचते मत रहो कि हाँ ये बनाना होगा. सोचते हैं पूरा प्लान करेंगे, then we'll build it and everything. Get to your first product which people can use, चाहे वो Excel sheet हो, चाहे वो कुछ भी हो. Everything which brings in users is without tech is the best thing to start with initially, because once you have the clarity, उसके बाद tech बनाना बहुत आसान है. Skill लोग ढूंढ सकते हो या फिर खुद से भी बना सकते हो if you have the skills. Okay. So yes, that sums up what I had to share. Now open for any questions, and thank you so much patiently सुनने के लिए. I think I've shot up by 10 minutes. So बहुत ज़्यादा पकाया होगा तो I'm sorry for that. But thank you so much for listening to me so much patiently. I'll also open the chats. Okay, so यहाँ से start करते हैं. Nishant has asked, sir, GDGs get funding from Google for events, or they have to spend from their pocket or sponsors? See, it is a collaboration. Google supports us in multiple ways, right from content. which is the most important thing. Knowledge जो मिल रही होती है कि किस चीज़ पे हम लोग event करा सकते हैं. They are creating different engagement programs which we can run, giving us all the inputs, content, ideas. They are also kind enough to support whenever there is a possibility with food for the event, which is, after knowledge, it is very essential if you want to do a full day event. So the pizzas that you see, जो कि हमें ठंडे करके खाना ज़्यादा पसंद आ गया है आजकल, instead of hot pizzas, they are funded by Google. But yes, communities are very much open and free to, find their own sponsorships, and most of the communities do that also. For example, last event we did at OLX. We've done a lot of events at Urban Company also, OLX also, ThoughtWorks also. These are companies which support communities and are very much, supportive and kind enough to offer us the space. There is no financial transactions going on over there. Okay. Next one is, when we pitch our startup, what all do you think we should cover? We have an idea, but there isn't any near profit in it, but the vision is strong and the problem is unresolved. We don't want to give up. Okay, Ananya has asked, but are scared in a way too. Being scared is good. It keeps you on your toes to build new things, to be not in the air, be on ground. Where do you want to pitch it? Do you think कि हाँ मैं idea लेके जाऊँ and funds उठा लूँ? That is very difficult unless you have really good connects or have a very, very strong pitch. But the most important thing is to build and get out there to get users. So users होंगे, traction होगा, everything else will flow in terms of money, in terms of support from people. If your product is solving a problem for them or is keeping them engaged, it is going to be useful for them. And बाकी चीजें फिर सोचने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेंगी. So instead of thinking about near-term profit or anything, think of the solution. If 10 people are repeatedly using your product or your solution, there would be 100,000 or more people throughout the world similar to them. So unko dhunna would be easy through recommendations also, right? So don't think about ki banaye ya nahi banaye. What are the first three features that I should build and get it live? And being in college, the easiest part is, I think आजकल हर talk में बोलने लगा हूँ. You can literally go to the hostel door of your friends, knock करके, you can literally shout at them या उनका phone छीन के, you can install your application or open the website and ask them to use your product, or shout out in the class in between lectures and find initial users. Once you're out of college, finding users is a different game. I won't say difficult, but it's a different strategy. But in college, it is so much easy to find your first set of users if they are the target user is the same. How the design approach started? Did you start with competitive analysis? No. I think then also and today also, I was just solving for myself. But there are 200,000 more users right now. So I am listening to more of them. Initially, जब मैंने बनाया था, I was only solving for myself and my team of 3, 4, 5 people to be able to make this into a useful platform only for us. So if it is your own problem, it gets easier to build and to solve. Okay, what were the research process that you started with? All right. अब इसमें दो parts आ जाते हैं. One is researching in terms of so for example, Commudle would be overlapping with a lot of event platforms, with a lot of hackathon platforms, even with LinkedIn to a lot of extent because of the profile part. So you need to see what are people already used to. कि अगर उन्हें एक particular तरीके से चीजें use करने की आदत है, then you should not initially look at reinventing the whole wheel. क्योंकि कोई अगर आपके application पे या web app पे आते हैं user, they would find it difficult to understand because they're not used to it. So you need to teach them dhire dhire once they start getting used to your application. So the research in terms of design and usability was done on existing platforms. And obviously, as a startup, we have low funds. There are great companies who have already done the research. We are learning from them and adapting to it, making our own small tweaks and changes into that till we have that huge inflow. Second part is user feedback. So most of the feedbacks that I receive, we put them into the flow pipeline for discussion. If it is a bug, if it is a payment related bug, highest priority. If it is any other bug, we prioritize it and then we solve it. And then alongside the bugs are feedbacks from users, which we take really seriously. And हम लोग उस पे बहुत सारा काम करते हैं and regular updates. मतलब if you open Commudle thrice a week, probably it will reload thrice a week every time you open it. वो yellow सा top right पे आता है updating application. That is the number of deployments that we are doing. Not a very good practice, but at an early stage it can be done. When you started your project on building Commudle, how did you get fund for startup? Yeah, I started with my own funds. We are bootstrapped from then. I put in my own money. Whenever you're going out and talking to investors or anyone, they also see how much skin in the game is something that you are putting from your own thing. So I started with my own funds and 10 साल ऑलमोस्ट हो गए थे ग्रेजुएट किए हुए. नहीं 10 साल नहीं, 7-8 साल हुए थे. तो उस समय जो भी आई कट कॉर्नर्स एंड सेव्ड एंड इन्वेस्टेड एंड एवरीथिंग. So I used from that money. Okay. Need assistance in brand awareness and marketing for early users for my product. Tried everything from Instagram, LinkedIn, Medium, and even Reddit. Not Google Ads. As willing to go organic. Yes. For me, the journey has been word of mouth. GDG New Delhi ke events mein people used to attend. Used to ask what is this. There were other community leaders also, and from there the word spread. Today also we don't have any marketing budget. पैसे नहीं है उस चीज के. So most of the marketing that is done for us is word of mouth. People who use Commudle as an attendee at an event or join a community, they are able to see the capabilities. They come back and they fill the community sign up requests, and that is where we give access. If you need any help in brand awareness, I would say communities is a very good place. Find out the communities which have the users of your products. Try collaborating. I think community leaders are very much kind enough to, helping out early stage startups in finding out ways so that you could get some new users. Do you think problems that could be solved by starters exist that don't require professionals to build but are still out there not being solved? So there is this theory that everything you think that you're solving new is already solved. If I go by that, it's all about how much better are you solving the problem. Or maybe let us say Uber was not present in tier 2, tier 3 cities. छोटी cities में नहीं था. That is how Ola worked out, right? That is how Ola grew. So it depends on the geography, the type of people you are catering to. All of that is there. How many team you have for Commudle startup? Okay, take a guess. How many people work at Commudle? Till then, I'll answer the next one. When designing a product or website, should user interface be straightforward and focused on functionality? Should it include engaging interactive elements and encourage users? Personal preference, functionality. If it does the job correctly without breaking the user's experience, that is the first thing. फिर धीरे धीरे improve करते रहो UX को. Right? How to find a problem? सुबह उठने से लेके रात को सोने तक जितनी भी चीजें करते हो उसमें से छोटी छोटी चीजों में जिसमें भी प्रॉब्लम आती हो, यू कुड कोड एन ऐप फॉर दैट. इफ योर कॉलेज इज नॉट हैविंग बट उसका प्रोडक्ट कहीं बाहर है, अपने कॉलेज के लिए अलग से कोड कर दो. आई रिमेंबर इन वन कॉलेज दे हैड अ मेस ऐप. मेस मतलब फूड मेस, जो कि स्टूडेंट्स ने कोड किया था. 3 या 4 तरह की मेस होती थी, तो उसमें मेन्यू डेली अपलोड होता था. स्टूडेंट्स यूज टू चूज ऑनलाइन की कौन सी मेस में खाने जाना है. ब्रेकफास्ट, लंच, डिनर अलग अलग, और पैसा उनके अकाउंट से कट के मेस के कॉन्ट्रैक्टर के पास चला जाता था एट द एंड ऑफ द मंथ. ओके, सो टीम साइज पे आते हैं. हाउ Commudle जनरेट्स रेवेन्यू? वी हैव अ सब्सक्रिप्शन मॉडल फॉर communities. You can buy a community subscription and run it. There are different models: individual community, bucket communities, organization. So there are different plans. You can check out the pricing page for that. Team size, okay. So right now there are, you can say, 2 full-time, 1 part-time developer. There is 1 product designer. All these people probably began their career at Commudle. Then there is 1 community developer relations community manager. And there are 2 part-time, but for over 2 years, employees who handle content and some community cohorts for teaching technical content writing, who are based out of Nigeria and Kenya. My co-founder is based out of Singapore. I am in New Delhi. So around 8 people, you can say, who are on the payroll. And then there are some outsourced services which we are utilizing. Tech team, you can say 5 people. I right now write very less code, but review code daily. That is there. So yes, Hemant is the closest. But thank you for saying out 20. I've even heard answers like 50. Feels good to hear that. Okay, final question. As you pick the idea which solves your personal team benefit, however, if you want to build a product idea something, what are the points that we should keep in mind before selecting the idea? Okay, first thing is, has anyone already solved it? If yes, then why do you want to solve it? Just saying my product will be better, थोड़ा सा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है. इट्स लाइक मेरे पास मारुति 800 है, किसी के पास मर्सिडीज है. दोनों लोग कह रहे हैं मेरी गाड़ी बेटर है. अब दोनों के यूज केस में मर्सिडीज माइट नॉट बी वेरी वेल फॉर अ सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ रोड. Maruti might or Lord Alto might be better in certain types of roads, right? So how is your product better? Why would people migrate to it? Second is, ऑलरेडी आई सेड कि क्यों लोग यूज करेंगे उसको. अगर ऑलरेडी सेटिस्फाइड है, कितना डिफिकल्ट होगा. अब कोई कहता है कि मैं गूगल ड्राइव सुबह से शाम तक यूज करता हूँ, जीमेल यूज करता हूँ. Someone launches a 10x better mailing app. How easy would it be to migrate from Gmail to something else, right? Why would people use it? हम लोग ना एज टेकीज वी आर एक्साइटेड कि ये आइडिया है, चलो बनाते हैं. बनाने के लिए एक्साइटेड हो जाते हैं, बट वो रिसर्च रह जाती है कि क्यों बनाना चाहिए. And third, most important is, how long are you able to take this in terms of, ऐसा कभी भी नहीं होगा कि 1 महीने 2 महीने बना के चला के देखा and बंद हो गया. It's a journey. If you sometimes people pivot also. Y Combinator अगर किसी ने सुना, accelerator, one of the most famous ones. People have pivoted their startups after pivot, मतलब कि idea change कर लिया, switch कर लिया, even after getting into the startup. तो एक solid team होना, अकेले शुरू करना थोड़ा मुश्किल होता है, but definitely करना चाहिए. बट एक टीम होना इज वेरी गुड. को फाउंडर और समवन जिसके साथ आप अपना दुखड़ा और खुशियां शेयर कर सकते हो, whom you can rely on. That is good. Okay, I think that is the last question. How did you promote your startup? I did not promote my startup. मतलब I hesitated. People used to tell me, still tell me कि promote करो. But I think word of mouth has been there. जैसे यहाँ पे मैं टॉक दे रहा हूँ तो ये प्रमोशन हो गया थोड़ा सा, but still it's all about people attending events and getting to know about Commudle and then utilizing it for multiple other engagements, not just events, beyond that in their communities. So yes, that sums up. If you have any more questions, please hit me up on Commudle पे DM कर सकते हो या LinkedIn पे DM कर सकते हो. I will reply. I do reply, even if it is a little bit delayed, but I make sure that I reply. So don't hesitate in putting it out. Again, thank you so much for listening so much patiently. I am grateful कि इतने सारे लोग बैठे थे and have been listening. Thank you so much.
Sorry, even I have some question, but firstly, thank you for agreeing to speak at our event. So may I continue with my question here?
Yeah, please.
So the first question is, how do you envision the future of developer communities and what role do you see Commudle playing in that landscape?
Okay, so there is this terminology which I repeat and I heard and I like it. It's called software is no longer sold directly. It is adopted. ऐसा नहीं होता कि people go and directly buy it. They go for a free trial. They use it for some time using credits or free trial. Then they see whether they want to buy it or not. So that is where developer relations comes into play. In terms of, if I look at it from a dev tools company, a business perspective, they need a lot of community presence to build an ecosystem or environment around their product, wherein people know about that product and have an environment, यानी बहुत सारे लोग जो कि इस product को use कर रहे हो, and people are able to discuss and get their problems solved. So that is where communities is becoming more and more and more important. Again, with the onset of AI, more companies are stepping into building products more easily, fast. Now, building is easier, getting users is difficult. That is where communities becomes even more integral, and then getting the product feedback to the team. So that is where I see developer communities are becoming more and more important to any company which is building tools for developers. Um Earlier, developer relations only used to come under marketing. Today, it is starting to get its own department and more closely linked with the product team. So, yes, that is where developer communities are important. And second is basically as Commudle, I think we are trying to reach at that place in long term. The vision is just like as you are a professional, you say कि LinkedIn पे profile होनी चाहिए. Yeah, if you're a designer, then you have to have a profile on maybe Behance, Dribble to showcase your portfolio. Similarly, if you are a techie, we want to be at a place wherein people say, if you're a techie, then you should have a profile on Commudle to build your network. So that is where I see Commudle to be.
Okay. Glad to know that. The next question is, how do you stay updated with the latest trends and technologies in the rapidly evolving tech industry?
So I have subscribed to certain newsletters. I have certain Chrome plugins. For example, there is daily.dev, which is a very good Chrome plugin where people post content, latest whatever is going on. And other than that, the most important part is attending community engagements, both online and offline ones. So the most updated part that I get to know is from communities, meeting people who are building something, and just sharing across.
And if you don't
What are
mind, can
those
you please
plugins?
share those newsletters in the chat box? Many of the participants are asking
Yeah,
for
yeah.
it.
So there is, so one I can point out is daily.dev. You can curate your own newsletter or content, the type of content that you want to see from that. I've subscribed to certain topics on Medium. आजकल काफी कुछ paid हो गया है, but at least I get to know through the headline what new has come up. I also keep on receiving product hunt emails daily. Then there are certain other newsletters which are hosted by different writers on multiple platforms, or they have their own white label thing, which I receive. But yes, currently I would say just keep on reading and internet will keep on suggesting it to you, whatever latest. जहाँ पे भी कोई एक अच्छा blog पढ़ा या YouTube का video देखा, उसको subscribe कर लो. Next time when they release an updated content, you will get similar suggestions. That is how I stay updated. Second part is whenever something new comes out, I just read about it. What is it? I don't just dive into building something through it till I find a use case. So we've implemented finally AI into Commudle for a very small use case, which is very critical to us. But yes, we did not go about just including it into documentation, which is also a big thing. But we did not want to go that way initially. See, more people are sharing. Generative.ai is there. बहुत सारे हैं यार, मतलब I just keep on deleting from the inbox.
Sir, I won't take you much time. I just need to know one thing. Can you share any
Uh-huh.
upcoming projects or initiatives you are excited about, either within Commudal or in the broader tech community? Like, if you want to disclose it, it's on you.
Sure. It's all community. So uh, we are rolling out certain features for which we have been working on for about 2.5 months. One of them will be able to help you find more personalized and latest set of things going on in within your developer communities you are a part of, or people who are, for example, someone is going to give a talk and you follow them, you will get to know about it, or someone whom you follows them, you might also get to know about that also. So we're working on those algorithms. Second is a lot of localization. So what happens is we are now getting people or techies who are users from different parts of the world. So we are building localization in terms of you being able to. So the core purpose of Commudle was to be able to find techies around you, tech events or engagements around you. So you will be able to filter out a particular location and see what is happening around that place. So we are working on that. And then there is one interesting thing in terms of addition to hackathons, which we will release, wherein you will be able to use it as a marketing tool or as a competition tool to give tasks to people. For example, go and follow us on Twitter, go and follow us on LinkedIn or comment on this post. Fill this form on Commudle. Once you complete all of these, you earn some reward points. So all these things are in the pipeline. Please ये किसी को मत बताना यहाँ पे जितने भी लोग हैं. This last one is something we are still midway in terms of testing it out. So these are the things we are building, and then there are a lot of improvements. We are trying to make Commudle's UI closer to how a mobile app looks and more useful on mobile. So that is working on work going on.
Thank you, sir. It was great interacting with you. Now we have reached at the end of our session. I would like to extend my gratitude to you for your engaging, informative presentation. I mean, it was great. As a reminder, all attendees will receive a follow up email with meeting notes, presentation slides, and other relevant materials. Thank you for your participation, and we look forward to future events. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night and a great week ahead. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Swati.